Hi everybody, this is Alan Ellman, the Blue Collar Investor, with today's covered call writing question of the day. Today's question comes from Sam. Alan, what cost basis should we use to calculate returns after rolling out? How about after rolling out and up? There are several prices to choose from and it gets confusing. Thanks, Sam. Well, Sam, you're absolutely right. It can get confusing. There are a lot of prices that we could select from. So let's see if we could put a little color into this question and make it less confusing. First, we'll start with some definitions implicit in your question. Now, looking at the screenshot in front of you now, let's first define rolling out. Rolling out is when we buy back the near month strike and sell the next month's same strike. So as an example, buy back the July 50 call and sell the August 50 call. That's rolling out. Next definition is rolling out and up. That's where we buy back the near month strike price and sell the next month's higher strike price. So as an example, you buy back the July 50 call and you sell the August 55 call. That's rolling out and up. And finally, cost basis is the current value of the investment that we use to calculate percentage returns. And that's the part that sometimes confuses beginning option sellers. All right, so let's move on now to the What Now tab of the Ellman Calculator, which is the one we use when we are rolling options. Normally, as we approach Expiration Friday, the third Friday of the month, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, is the time that we could still act to roll our options. Now, in the screenshot that you could see here, we're going to feed some information into the blue cells, which is the left side of the spreadsheet for the Ellman Calculator, and this will allow us then to calculate the statistics of rolling out and up. In this particular case, we have a hypothetical. We'll call it stock and company BCI. We bought 100 shares initially at $28 a share and sold the $30 call you could see in the middle of that spreadsheet. Now, the price we paid on the far right is $28, but the current price as Expiration Friday approaches is $33. So we know that if we take no action, our shares will be sold on the Saturday after Expiration Friday. Matter of fact, if the price was $30.01, our shares will be sold if we take no action. Now, the original option sold for $1, as you could see in the middle of the spreadsheet, and to buy back that option would cost us $3.10. Now that makes sense because the $30 call is $3 in the money, or lower than current market value of $33. And since we're approaching 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Expiration Friday, there's very little time value left. Let's just say 10 cents. Now, if we should roll out to the next month's 30 strike, we could generate a premium of $4. That's $3 of intrinsic value. The amount the 30 strike is lower than the current market value of 33, plus $1 of time value. And that would be rolling out. Now, if we rolled out and up to the 35 strike, then that would generate $1. No intrinsic value component. It's all time value. So those are the statistics that we feed into the blue cells on the left side of the spreadsheet. Remember, we're at the What Now tab of the Ellman Calculator. So let's have a look now at some of the results now after we feed this in. So let's first have a look at rolling out. We buy back the 30 call and sell the next month's 30 call. Now, the option premium generated, you remember, $4 or $400 for the contract. The cost to buy back the original near month option was $3.10. $3 of intrinsic value, 10 cents of time value. So we have a net options credit of $90 per contract. Now, again, what is the cost basis? That's the thrust of Sam's question. Well, the answer is, what are our shares worth as we roll the option? They're not worth 28 anymore because they're currently priced at 33. But they're not worth 33 either because we have an option obligation to sell at 30. So therein lies the answer. Our cost basis is $30. When we're considering rolling or allowing assignment, $30 is comparing apples to apples. That's how much we would get if we did not roll the option and our shares were sold at the strike price. So a $90 credit on the option side on a cost basis of $3,000, 30 times 100, generates a 3% 1 month return. Now, in addition to that, since we always roll out or almost always roll out to an in the money strike, remember the 30 strike is $3 in the money. That means we have downside protection of 9.1%. That means that we are guaranteed a 3% 1 month return as long as share value does not decline by more than 9.1% by expiration Friday. Okay, let's then move on to the second possibility, rolling out and up. You could see on the spreadsheet here that rolling out and up results actually in an option debit of $210. It cost us $310 to buy back the option, and we're generating $1 or $100 per contract when we sell the next month's out of the money strike. So we actually have an option debit, but our shares are no longer worth 30, are they? They're worth 33 because we've removed that ceiling of $30 from the previous month's strike. So now our shares are actually worth 33. So we have an unrealized stock credit of $300 per contract. Plus, there's a possibility of shares moving from 33 up to the 35 strike, which potentially could generate an additional $2 per share or $200 per contract. So, if the price of the stock did in fact rise to the 35 strike, that would give us $500 in credits minus the $210 in debit and the option debit, or a total credit of $290 for the month, which would represent a 9.67% 1 month return. If share price did not move up and just stayed stagnant, then our total return would be $210 debit plus $300 credit, same cost basis because that's what our shares are worth at the time that we are rolling the option. That represents a 3% 1 month return. So that is rolling out and up. So next, let's just summarize what our cost basis situations are. The cost basis is always going to be the lower of the current market value or the original strike sold. Since we almost always roll options when the strike is in the money, it's always going to be the original strike sold, except in some rare situations where we roll the option when the strike is slightly out of the money. Now, two examples of when that might occur is when we're concerned about a phenomenon known as pinning the strike. And that's the phenomenon where, as expiration of Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time approaches, a stock price has a tendency to move to a strike. So it could be 1/4 to 4, 10 to 4, and the price of the stock is, let's say, $29.85. And sometimes what will happen is, as expiration closes at 4 o'clock, the next couple minutes, as trades are being closed, boom, the price of the stock moves to the 30 strike, and we could lose our shares on the following day. So if you don't want to take that chance, you roll the option, even though the share price might be $29.85 at the time. Or let's say it's expiration Friday, you're not going to be at your computer, you're taking a trip, you're going to be on the road, and you're actually making this trade on Thursday or Wednesday. It's close to the strike, but not at the strike. You don't want to take a chance. So you might roll the option when the strike is out of the money. So at that point in time, your cost basis then would be a little bit less than the near month strike price. But generally speaking, the cost basis when rolling out or rolling out and up is going to be the strike price that the near month option was sold. So Sam, there you have it. I hope I provided enough color to make this less confusing than you found it originally. For those of you out there that don't have the Ellman Calculator, you can get a free copy by going to thebluecollarinvestor.com. It's free by clicking on the free resources link on the top black bar of the website. Just put in your name and email address and you have access to the Ellman Calculator, its user guide, and about a dozen other free files. So Sam, thank you very, very much for that question. It's very pertinent. And of course, thanks to everybody out there for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you make some money from it. As always, this is Alan Ellman. Take care, everybody.